This is why my business works, a space for creative business owners to reflect on the choices, instincts, and the quiet pivots that make their work truly their own and the magic that makes it all tick. I'm Megan Dolly, strategist, CFO, and your hostess. Today, you are going to learn about Alix Anopol, an Austin-based designer who really doesn't play by all the rules that we've kind of been taught, which I love. Alix was brought up by two creative individuals. Her dad would create wonderful furniture with hidden compartments. You are about to meet Alix Anopol. She is an Austin-based designer. I'm excited for you to learn about her history and her business. She's got this fantastic advantage of the parents she grew up with, and I will let you, Alix, tell the story of that. What makes Alix different is her sharp eye for detail in examining the needs of clients and what's actually going to make their life better. Welcome. Thank you for coming on.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So let's start off with some statistics. How long have you,
I've been in business about 2.5 years now. Yes.
what does your staff look like at this point?
It's just me. I have a bookkeeper and navigating what to do in the next year about bringing on help or marketing. For now, I'm winging it myself.
Yeah, yeah. And you got that bookkeeper to take care of the stuff that weighs you down. In what size do your projects range?
Anything from a one room to a full house. I work on full service interiors from concept to completion. I do remodels, new builds, custom furnishing.
Is there a preferred pricing model with your projects?
I work hourly and typically do an estimate. I'm pretty adamant about making sure clients know that this is just historical data that I go off of about how long it takes me to do projects. It really is up to the client. They may need hand holding and multiple revisions, or they may be really easy and approve things right away. So it's all up to them, but I like hourly for that reason.
You never know what's around that corner. And how many projects do you juggle at a time?
Maybe four is my max. Getting more than that is getting into the territory of like, I need help. But it depends on the size of the projects too.
Let's talk about what really stuck out to me. You got to grow up with artists, people working with their hands, saw visually and were able to create. Can you tell me about your parents?
I was born in New York City and my father was a furniture designer. He had his own showroom in the D&D building and he had different locations. He started in the 70s working with old school New York designers and big names. He built his business by doing custom furniture and his own designs, and then he would do custom millwork, detailed to what the clients wanted. This was 80s, 90s. TVs would pop out of places. Unfortunately, he passed away when I was a child, so I didn't get to follow him. My mom was an entrepreneur. She worked in the cosmetic industry as a sales executive. Her passion was wellness and yoga. She owned a health club and went into cosmetics. And then after I was born, really developed her yoga career where she built a business teaching children and adults and training teachers. The wellness aspect of how you live is big for me. I like to incorporate that into the home. I think about our needs as humans. I like to marry both mindsets. So that's me in a nutshell.
That's great. You have these parents who just went out and did the thing that they were passionate about. And I think that's actually quite rare. And that's something to be celebrated to have those types of examples in your life.
Rare. I meet other designers all the time and they just wandered into the field. I'm just born into this.
When was it for you that you're like, I'm going to be an interior designer?
When I was trying to figure out what to go to college for.
Yeah.
My mom and I moved to Texas when I was 12. Being with a single mother, I had to go to state school. I always knew I wanted to do something creative. I went to college before digital marketing became big. I probably would have gone into that or tech. I think I picked the right career for me. I almost wanted to study fashion, but merchandising was more of a thing in Texas, and I really wanted to be the designer. So I'm doing what I want now.
Does interior design satisfy your creative need, or do you have outside hobbies that fill in the blanks?
It fills a lot of my creative need. I'm really into music. I took music lessons growing up. I love going to concerts, discovering new music, collecting vinyl. I also study astrology. I'm trying to learn that now. Maybe in the future I'll incorporate that into my business.
That's pretty cool. You have this creative background and started 2.5 years ago with this business, a relatively young business. You have a vision of where you want it to go. But right now, what are some elements of your business that you're like, this is why I'll always have my own business? This is why it's for me.
I love the freedom of having my own business. Being able to schedule my day the way that works for me is ideal. I don't have a team yet, but in the future, I would love to cultivate a team. One thing that is really important to me, as I've worked for a lot of design firms and businesses throughout my career before starting my own thing, is taking into consideration hiring people for their own, hiring them and helping cultivate their career in a way that they're learning and growing and feel they're getting out of working for me what I'm getting out of them working for me. Developing relationships like that and making people feel valued is important. That's my dream.
Yeah. Well, I think that's lovely. A lot of people have experienced going to work for somebody in a field they love, but feeling exploited by their employer. That's another thing that I love about the small interior design firms is that those are the ones that are asking, how do I pay my people more while they're out on medical leave? They truly care about their people, not just the
Yeah.
work they produce for the company.
Yeah, it's very important. I think the industry can be hit or miss. It depends who you work for and what kind of experience you get. I've been lucky and I've been not so lucky along the years. So, yeah.
So that vision that you're working towards, what does that look like? The structure of the people, the processes, and the art in a particular style. When you look at the vision or you're thinking of the vision in your head of how it's going to work, what do you see?
I didn't know this when I went into interior design, but having moved to Austin almost 6 years ago, I realized how I could really get into real estate development later in my career and use that as a way for my own creative outlet without the emotional aspect of a homeowner being there. I can put my creative vision on something and have people see the end result versus cutting things along the way, and things never end up looking the way the designer wants it because the client approves things. Part of my business focus on high-end luxury interiors for clients, and then at the same time have a development side of my business where my team and I get to be creative and do the things that are really fun for us as designers. So I think that's a big thing. And someone will buy that house.
Oh, absolutely. There's something to be said for the artistry of interior design, but reconciling that with the client's wishes, right? I mean, at one end you have the people who come in with like photos from magazine, like here, make my house look like this, which is fine and great. And on the other end, high-end designers create a work of art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely something I think about. How can I create a life that is fun and my passion doesn't get weighed down by logistics? I think a lot of creatives are weighed down by that and don't see the full potential of their creativity. That's where I think it'll come down the road.
What are some of the favorite elements that stayed in the design that you're like, yeah, that's me?
One project, I totally revamped their entire downstairs. I did one of those hidden compartments, but I made it their pantry. I don't have photos, but it was cool. You didn't even know it was there, it's just built into the cabinetry, but then it opens into a room with all their pantry stuff.
Awesome. That's great. Like a little homage to your dad living in this house. That's wonderful. You mentioned fun, which I'm all about. I name my business Happy Little Business. This element of fun and joy. Do you have windows of that right now?
I love to network and I go to a lot of networking events. Austin's great for that. Rich community. I have fun spending time with other designers and people in the industry. I forgot the question.
That's okay. Elements of fun in your life and business that you're like, yep, I have it now, and this is what I'm pulling forward.
I think I'm young and I still have a social life. Balancing that with my business is a dance. Everyone gets their business off the ground through their social networks. It's important to cultivate relationships with people outside of the industry as well as inside of the industry. But yeah, I think just live music. That's really where I have a lot of fun. It's a great city for that.
Do you do the South by Southwest stuff when that comes to town?
Yeah, I haven't gone in a couple of years. It's not the same as it used to be. There's other things besides South by Southwest that people outside of Austin don't know about, but there's a lot going on here.
Every time I'm in Austin, there's some show in some little basement of some bar.
Hmm.
There's always something to do in Austin. How would you describe your general approach to business?
Being a transparent and genuine person is important in business. Developing relationships where you can communicate openly with your build partners and your clients and things like that. I don't like to throw people under the bus. I like to come to a solution collaboratively. There's always something that needs a solution. Being helpful as possible to the client is number one, because ultimately we want to make this process as easy for them as we can. The mark of a good, successful project is how easy was this for the client?
Yeah.
On top of what it looks like, the client is what matters.
I feel HGTV has done the industry a little dirty. It's
Bad.
pretty on paper and then poof in your house. Ta-da!
Yeah. And it costs $5, apparently.
So how'd you get your first client? How'd you start this?
Honestly, I just launched my Instagram. I was in between jobs. I was trying to decide what I was going to do next, and I started getting my stuff together, see if it would take off. Someone reached out. I started networking, got freelance jobs, client referrals. Things just started snowballing that way. Sheer luck. Someone found me on Instagram.
Yeah, that's hard to repeat these days. But that's great. And you get to acknowledge there was some luck at play. Was there ever a moment in your business where you grew into the confidence of the business owner role?
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, there were like five designers in my career, and I knew how to do everything in the business except run the business. So when I started, I did a lot of research and I knew the things you're supposed to do, starting up the business, paperwork, bank account, in terms of marketing and building that for yourself and keeping things going. I had to focus on getting the work done and doing the design and the project management. I would say I didn't really feel fully comfortable until 6 months ago, maybe.
Those first 2 years, I don't care what industry, those first 2 years can be a trial by fire.
Like throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. But, I went into this like, I know the process that works, and then it wasn't working for the clients I was getting. So I had to revamp things. I'm trying to navigate back to the process I know works is the one I'm going to stick with always. It's a little shaky in the beginning. You don't really know
Yeah.
what's going to come next. So
Have you ever seen that graph? You don't know what you don't know. Feel confident, then find out something when you know what you don't know. So, if you could wave a magic wand and change something about the industry, what would it be?
I think this might be a hot take. I would tell every other designer, or make sure every other designer wasn't selling everything at our cost. I see people on social media talking about like, oh, well, we share our costs with the client. And I'm like, you're doing every other designer a disservice, because that's not what that discount is meant for. And I, you know, I'm, I know like the audience that's going to see this and understand, homeowners might see this too and question me, but ultimately, we act as the retailer for these brands, and that is why designers have designer cost. A lot of brands don't allow us to sell below a certain amount. Some of these designers are not even holding up their end of the bargain with the brands and the vendors that we're buying things from. But I think that regardless of how you structure your business, product markup has always been a standard and should remain a standard. I don't think people should be going publicly and talking about all of these things and ins and outs of our business, because we don't know that side of things from any other industry. So why ours? We have overhead we have to cover that the clients don't. So as long as they know what they're paying and feeling like they're getting a good value out of what they're paying for, that shouldn't matter.
The extra 5 hours it took to get that sofa to your home, it's worth it. It feels like this practice comes from a place of, oh, to close the deal with this client or somebody else is going to get them. It has that energy of, you can have part of my discount then.
Yeah, I've seen super high-end designers doing this too, and I'm scratching my head because it just doesn't feel right. But who am I to say what people should do with their business?
What's your biggest frustration with your business? If I could just learn this thing, things would be great. Or if I could offload this to somebody else, there'd be more joy in my business.
Marketing and sales. We can only do so much with networking and word of mouth. Social media and digital marketing is full-time jobs. I will get to the point where I'm offloading that. I'm a one-woman show other than my book group. If I can save some time, that would be great. So I can have more time to do the work.
If you were a fly on the wall of your client's home and they were bragging you up, what are they
Mhm.
saying about what you did for them in their home?
One client really comes to mind. She's funny. I saw her vision and I made it come to life. She wanted this grandiose fireplace situation and didn't want to pay the crazy amount for a full slab carved marble fireplace, which can be crazy expensive. So I figured out a way to do it with tile. It ended up costing not cheap, but it wasn't the top thing. I made the rest of her house, cohesive, did a bathroom remodel for her kids. She really loved everything that I suggested outside of the things that she kind of had in mind in the beginning.
How did you help her stretch the things you suggested? How is that different than her vision and how did that make it better?
I knew how to design this fireplace in a way using materials and different vendors and things like that that kind of put it all together rather than buying something off the shelf that would have cost a crazy amount of money. I also did the drawings and it was designed in a way that you would need a designer to do this kind of thing. And the contractor knew exactly what to do whenever I explained it to him. And I think she was able to do something a little bit more luxe than she probably would have been able to without me. She was having trouble picking finishes throughout the house. I knew her style, very maximal, colorful pattern. I was able to pull that off for her.
Cool.
I love when clients have an idea of what they want and I can run with it. I actually think it's worse when a client's like, I have no idea, because then I'm just sitting around throwing things at their face. It helps when someone kind of knows what they
And
like.
that's a great jumping off point. And
Exactly.
now I know where to start. Then they can start bringing you back when you hit a boundary or that's a little too far.
Yeah. Well, she had so many ideas that I thought were great, but it was like too much for her house. So I helped her kind of pare down to what would look great cohesively. And, she may want to change things 5 years from now just so she can get that other thing that she wanted. People compliment her on that fireplace all the time. It's unexpected.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Sometimes you find yourself in a relationship with the wrong client and you're going, how do I get out of this? You've had one of those?
Yeah, I like to see everything through, but sometimes it doesn't work out for the client's budget. Budget is a big thing. So I run into people not wanting to give me their budget or kind of not really knowing what they need to spend. I really want a budget number from someone because I want to know what you're comfortable spending, what you're able to spend, the maximum. We can't go over this number kind of thing. I want to know all these things, even though it sounds like sale pitchy. It's more for me to just make sure that we don't totally blow your budget, because there's such a range of things we can get that I need to know where you are. I've had clients where it just didn't work out well, and one of them I ended up having to fire, which I wouldn't have to have done. I wish we could have gotten the project done from start to finish. People only have a certain amount of money, and at that point, I felt like the remainder of their budget made sense for them to put towards their remodel versus towards me. They had gotten far enough that they could finish it without me. I've done that before, but that was hard. I didn't want to walk away from that one.
Are you finding it easier to talk about money the longer you're in business?
Yes and no. I still find people want to question everything.
I'll re-ask, the longer you're in business, is it getting easier to talk about money with those clients ahead of time, or how do you bring up money?
Yes and no. I still have people that will not give me a budget until I give them a number, which is frustrating because I feel like I'm just throwing numbers at them and I have no idea if that's what they planned on spending. I can always adjust the scope of the project or quality of the product based on what they want to spend, right? What has gotten easier is I'm more involved in the construction bid process, so I kind of know more or less what things are costing realistically. When I first started, I was like, I have no idea. I did projects, but I was only one cog in a wheel of a design firm. I see everything myself with the contractors. I'm more comfortable giving a baseline ballpark for what they want to do, but ultimately they could go with a single GC or a big build firm. It depends on what they want to spend and what level of quality they're comfortable with.
What excites you most about what's coming up for your business?
I have a blank slate right now. I just wrapped up some projects and I'm talking to some people about starting some projects this fall, so that'll be fun. I'm excited to get going on those. That way I can start my goal of investing more in outsourcing and things like that. I really want to get that going so that the slower periods aren't so slow and
Yeah.
it's more consistent and steady versus working like crazy and then having a
Yeah,
but
there's definitely the August, September doldrums, and then
Mhm.
the can we get that by Thanksgiving right after that?
Yeah, by the time they ask, I'm like, if you asked me 2 months ago, people don't know. There's so much nuance, detail, lead times. Things can come from overseas or they can come from our backyard. So I would say anything's possible. It's just how much do you want to spend to make it happen?
In terms of mentorship, do you surround yourself with to get better?
I tap into my old boss from New York a lot. Like him and I are pretty close. And I have a group of designers I meet with here. I met with them this morning. We'll bounce ideas around practices, like what's working, what's not. I know a bunch of designers in Austin. It varies. I don't have one particular mentor.
It sounds like you're very good at surrounding yourself with people in whatever arena of life you're in.
I am an only child, so if I wanted to socialize or have any kind of human interaction, it was like, you got to go do it yourself. That's just kind of how I am. People are surprised when I tell them that I'm an only child, but I'm pretty outgoing. I just like to be connected to people.
If people wanted to learn more about what you have to offer or wanted to reach out to you, how would they get a hold of you?
You can find me on Instagram. Megan will put my contact information there. Shoot me an email, go to my website. I have some of my work on my website. I'm starting to get better at Instagram, so you might be seeing me a little bit more on there. I'm just a text or a call away. Don't feel shy.
That's great, Alex. Anything else you want to add?
Anything?
Anything you want to break up? Anything you want to celebrate or root for?
I think one of my goals would be we have a strong community editorially. There are a lot of home tours, design awards, best designer lists, and things like that. I would love to be featured as one of those people at some point. So that's kind of short-term goals of what I'm aiming for. And longer term is, like I said, build that business that I have fun in, my employees have fun in, and my clients have fun.
That's my favorite part of businesses that spread joy. I love it. Well, thanks for coming on today, Alex. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to Why My Business Works. If something piques your interest or tickles your funny bone and you want to talk more about it, you can find me at megandolly.com. And if anything that Alex has said piques your interest, or if you would love for an interior designer to come into your home and create a work of art, check out Alex's information below in the show notes. Till next time, I'm Megan Dolly and I'm rooting for you.